Ah, come on! Welcome to another episode of Haunt Ventures with Melissa and Jason. Today we're going to talk about how to make foam from, how to make brick paneling from start to finish. So check it out. Okay, so first thing you want to do is mark your the size of your brick. So in this case, we're going to make bricks that are 3 inches high by 9 inches wide. So what we're going to do, the first step is to mark 3 inches on this side all the way up and 3 inches on this side all the way up so that we can connect our lines across. What I'm doing here is I'm making sure that I line up the 3-inch line on this side and the 3-inch mark on this side, and then I'm connecting it. That's how I'm making sure they're really straight. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is you want to make your brick that's 9 inches now. So 4 inches. I'm just going to make a couple marks here at 4 inches. I'm going to line it up to my marks. So now I'm taking the short brick, which is here, now the short brick, and now I'm measuring 8 inches. And I'm going to measure 8 inches over here, because I need a reference point. I'm going to mention 8 inches here. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to line up on this mark, I'm going to line up on this mark, and I'm going to make my first mark here. So I've got my long brick, and I've got my short brick, so I've got dimension in this. This is a rotary tool. When you turn it on, it spins clockwise. So when you turn it on, it spins. What we're doing is we're going to drag this tool across this line to make a grout line. So what you want to do is you want to put the straight edge material sort of next to it so that this tool is in the very center of that line. Right? The shaft is in the very center of that line. So let's take a look at how that looks. But if you're going to use your right hand, what's going to happen is this is going to spin this way, and it's going to want to go out like this. And you might make a mistake. So let's see. So you may have to put a little bit more pressure on it into the corner. So you can see it's a lot different from a left-handed person to a right-handed person. But don't worry, in later stages we'll show you how these mistakes are actually used to your advantage. So basically we have to line up our straight edge and only cut these lines. So we're starting and stopping, starting and stopping. Instead of starting here and dragging, you want to start up higher and go down and in and then lift back up. I was doing the same technique here too, but I didn't explain it there. So you want to go down, in, and up. So watch. It helps make that line. Let's check out another one here. Okay, so there's a lot of tools that you can use, and this is one of them. So this is, I guess it's a paint. It's a steel brush. The nice thing about it is it's got 2 square edges, right? Across like that. And there's many tools that you can use, but for this purposes, we're only going to be using this tool. We're going to start off with these mistake areas. Be inconsistent. You don't want it to look manufactured at all. One technique we can do with it is to put the brush on a 45-degree angle and use the corner. Now if I just went straight like this, I'd be digging into this whole thing, but I want to make this crack deeper. So if I put it on a 45-degree angle, I can get right in there and make that crack deeper. So if I wanted to do some deeper and leave some the way they are, I could do that. Other thing is I could use the front of this brush. And these things, they do wear out after a while, so you get limited use out of them. I could take the corner off of this and round it, right? And I want to blend it into the same depth as the other one. And maybe I'll take a little bit of this corner off here. So there you go, I've got a nice little round part there. So let's look at this part here where we kind of messed up. So it doesn't look that great, it's not really a realistic looking brick line. So first of all, I'm going to, number one, I'm going to make it deeper. There we go. So now you can see we've taken that mistake and we've actually used it to our advantage and made the right cracks and the right erosion lines, rounded out these corners, rounded out this corner to make it look really realistic. So that's something you can do. You can also, work it down here. If there was a lot of water damage here, there's probably going to be a bit of water damage down here. So the bricks that you made a mistake on actually become the bricks that are the most damaged. When you're doing the lines, let's say you're carving out this edge, you want to make sure that you're doing like smooth lines, like you're sort of like rounded edges. So if you're going to make a dent here, don't just make a big welt, make it kind of rounded and come back up and over. Right? So you can see, I'll do an example here. So like if I was to do this line right here, and I sort of made it, see how it's sort of just like very lines like that? Try to round this off. 'Cause that's what water will do to something. Right? Water will round it off like that. So the next tool we're gonna use is a heat gun. What this is basically gonna do is it's going to heat up the foam. You can see this one's done right here. There's the difference with done and not done. It's gonna heat up the foam and just basically, it's gonna eat it, go deeper, it's gonna round these edges, it's also gonna harden it. So let's try it. I would suggest going over the whole thing, even though we want this part to be smooth. Just go over it, just to make it hard. It does harden the foam quite a bit. So as you can see, if I hold this on for a long time, it'll just keep eating away at it. So you want to kind of move, right? Unless that's the look you're going for. Okay, so the next stage is you're going to put your primer on this thing, and the primer should basically be the color that you want your grout lines to be, because that's where it's going to show most. We've taken just latex paint and we've watered it down with water. So after you have finished priming your foam panel 2 times, you want to take a sponge. So this is a household kitchen sponge, and you want to take the soft end, not the bristled end, the soft end, and you're going to want to dip it in this paint that you're going to be putting on the brick, the finished brick. So we've got our grout line color here, which is going to stay the same. This color here is going to change. So first of all, this paint is not diluted with water. It's just regular latex paint. You're going to dip it in. So you're going to coat it like that. Then you're going to scrape it off. It's still going to be full. And you're going to basically go on the edge and you're going to push down. You're going to push down over the whole thing. And that's going to give your brick the color and keep the paint out of the grout line. So you're not going to reapply paint. You're going to do this about 6 or 7 times until your paint's gone. The reason why is because every time you do this, there's going to be less and less paint on your sponge. So you're going to get an inconsistency in the color, and that's going to give the randomness in the bricks. So it's going to look like the bricks are fading. You want to have multiple people doing this because then you have people putting paint everywhere. So one technique you can do is what I'm doing right now, and then you could also take your brush, your sponge, and you could scrape it on. See, I'm getting the faintest of color in here, but as I run down to the end of this paint, it starts to get lighter and lighter and lighter. So you've got from, take a look at the 2 colors, you've got from dark brown, dark like a brownish green we're mixing here, all the way to like a really light color. So you want to be very inconsistent. So imagine if I was to do another one right here. Really inconsistent. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. We'll be happy to answer anything we didn't cover. Thanks for watching this episode of Haunt Vengers with Melissa and Jason, where we took foam, we turned it into something a little different, turned it into something awesome.